All right, team, so welcome. I know the skinny shot has been fabulous for most of us. I'm down about 50 pounds, a little bit more than Sarah, but who's counting?
I'm down almost 30.
And Dr. Arredondo, I think, is down like 15, 16 pounds.
Yeah.
20 pounds.
20? Oh, sorry. Damn, he's coming in hot.
I didn't even know you had that to lose. Okay.
But there's been a topic, that people have called the Ozempic Face, and I feel like, a little bit of a catch term, right? So just, it's hot, so that people are using it. Not something new to the world of aesthetics. So anybody that's treated people who've had massive weight loss, whether that's from bariatric surgery or just lifestyle changes, which is common, you can have some changes in your face, and a lot of times people look fabulous from the neck down. Sometimes can have some effects on the face, which is definitely well worth it to protect your heart, decrease your risk of strokes, diabetes, heart disease. But what are some...
Look amazing in your bikini.
And look amazing in your bikini. Yeah. But what are some of these effects that people talk about when you're referring to Ozempic Face, or really which is the weight loss face?
Yeah. So what I really see, and I think what a lot of most people see, is you start to get hollowness in your cheeks here because all that fat that's now gone was filling that before. So people tend to have a bit more of an oval or V-shaped face. You can see some of the skin start to sag a little bit, get some more jowling and some more nasolabial folds. And there's lots of options for that. I know injection-wise, we've got lots of options for patients that are interested in surgery.
Yeah, so in office, we can offer some options from hyaluronic acid injections to things like Sculptra, microneedling. So typically we'll do a consult with you. We start from the top down. So if we need to start with your foundation, but then we can talk about, and actually we are going to talk about, in my face, exactly, having a little bit of Halloween, I'm starting to see a little bit of sagging here. I don't want to get jowls, so we're going to work on preventing that with some Sculptra, so we'll get into that in a little bit. And then even microneedling. Morpheus, Vivace is great. I think we're going to do a little Vivace on Dr. Franco, tighten up his neck a little bit. So we have tons of options, and then you can talk to these guys for surgical options if it's needed.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a completely different change, because in the past we've talked about facial rejuvenation, typically in the associated field of aging. Now we have a lot of young patients that have a lot of life to live. They want to, live healthier. They want to live well longer. And so making these lifestyle changes when you're young, but want to be able hey, I feel absolutely fabulous. I want my face to look the same.
Right.
And when they see us, they break it down typically into two things, because there's two parts of this, right? There's the volume loss and there's the skin laxity. And we want to address both of these. People get both of them to different degrees.
Right.
And this is where your healthcare provider can really help guide you of what's going to do best. Whether it's a little volume replacement, whether it's a little skin laxity to get that up and high and tight. So we're going to walk them through that today a little bit.
That's right. Yeah. Stick with us. You're just going to learn some more.
That's right.
So we got Nurse Sarah here today. As you've been watching on our Instagram, we've been sharing our journey with us, and most of you that follow Sarah have been watching her thirst trap, so she's been placing, so she was absolutely fabulous in her bikini vacation, but wants to do a little something to her face, and this is actually a little bit preventative for you. You don't want to get to the point where you have too much gel and too much skin, and the idea behind that is just doing a little bit at a time, on a regular basis goes a long ways. But maybe I'll stop talking for a little bit, and you tell me what bothers you and what we're trying to achieve here.
Yeah, and I totally agree. The other thing is when we break up these treatments and start early, it makes it a little more affordable too. So for me, I've got some cheek filler already, so I think that typically is a great place to start, but that actually I think is good. But I'm starting to just get some hollowing through here, starting to get my nasolabial folds a little bit deeper, and this has been a really hot topic with my patients, is a little bit of this shadowing under here. So I just want to kind of sharpen everything up, prevent it from sagging more than it is now.
And today we're gonna do a product called Sculptra. This is super unique. It's been around for a long time. I think with the whole weight loss, craze and Ozempic Face stuff, this is gonna be one of the hottest products in 2023. Heard it here first, because the idea behind Sculptra that's super unique is it's a collagen stimulator, and a lot of people who are trying to be healthy and fit are just trying to use a little bit of natural stimulation to just rebuild what they've lost. And the idea behind this, especially in people who are super thin and chiseled from the neck down, maybe I'll share it with you guys soon. But it's just adding a little bit of volume that looks super natural. Also helps with some of the skin texture. So especially for those cheek areas, for some areas where you're just looking soft, don't want to look overly filled. I think this is absolutely fabulous, because she'll get some fill now, and then over the next 6 to 8 weeks, just slowly increase, and then we can repeat doses to get them to where they want to be.
That's right. The nice thing about Sculptra is it builds over time. So you get a nice big plumping at first, and then as it builds, you see those areas start to fill in more. You also don't have to anchor it to the bone. So a lot of our HA fillers, you really have to have something bony, some support for it. But with Sculptra, you can use it for the soft tissue just to fill in those areas, and those are really difficult, really tough to treat any other way. So it's a great product for that.
Especially when people are super skinny, because sometimes the fillers can look a little hard, especially when you're accentuating those bones.
Yep.
And people are trying to soften that look
That's right.
just a little bit, because the rest of us is so hard and chiseled. We want the face to be nice and soft. So boom, 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 coming up soon. See ya.
Stay tuned, guys.
All right, Jim, this is cool. So, we're talking earlier about the Ozempic Face, but really can be any weight loss, because remember, there's two things we're trying to address: skin laxity and also volume loss. So, Sculptra is absolutely fabulous for a couple things. Definitely for volume depletion, because it's going to stimulate your own collagen to add some volume, but also some of the things that I think are underutilized for Sculptra is improving the overall skin texture, which I do think to at least some degree helps with skin elasticity, helps with that recoil, especially in our younger patients. A lot of people have loved it when they want more of a natural feel. They also want something subtle, because the cool thing about this is it's going to build over time. You can spread this super evenly, so not going to look overly fake. And especially when you lost weight, you look chiseled from the neck down. Also want you to look fabulous from the neck up. So we're going to do some cool stuff. All right, this is cool team too. Tell me, Sarah, what bothers you? Because you've lost a lot of weight. We were talking about it earlier. Everybody's seen your thirst traps look fabulous from the neck down. Trying to work on that face too.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah, well, I'll try to take it as a compliment. Just a little bit of volume loss I've had in my lower face. I'm just trying not to touch it because I know you just cleaned it. But, especially down here in my jawline, my skin's just gotten a little bit looser. I really don't want them to turn into jowls. So I'm sharpening everything up, just a little bit of natural volume without looking wide.
And one of the cool things about this, I think sometimes people forget, sometimes be like, oh, I want to wait till I lose all my weight, to do some of this filler stuff. I honestly think that's a mistake, right? Because especially the older we get, if we're not 18, our skin doesn't bounce back as much. The more collagen stimulation you can get right away, the better you're going to be. It's almost hard to do a bunch of filler at one time. So as soon as you start to see some of that, I think kind of building it back up and getting it into a good spot. Because also remember, with Sculptra, it takes a little bit of time. So for her, we do a couple things. The areas it's great for is filling in some of these, especially the hollow cheek stuff things here. So adding a little volume, because you can see, if we pull that up, it's going to help a little bit with some of this, camouflage that. We'll actually come and fill some of this as well. Lots of cool things you can do with it. You can even do it in combination with other filler stuff. Today we're just doing Sculptra, which is super cool. And then the other, I already talked about it, but I think people don't use it enough to help with skin rejuvenation. There's definitely people, you've lost weight. Most of us were, got in the sun, got our first good sunburn, and then, kind of went on with life. And just to do a little bit of skin rejuvenation, I think is absolutely fabulous and underutilized.
Stay tuned for photos.
Yeah. All right, this is cool, and I don't know how much you can see this, but it's actually a really cool thin liquid stuff, and this is what gives us the really nice ability to be able to distribute this so evenly. I think this is really unique to Sculptra in terms of being able to diffuse this in the soft tissue super safely, because it's so aqueous, but also being able to get it nice and smooth. This is cool. So you can see she looks absolutely fabulous, right? This is just a little preview of what she's going to look like 6 to 8 weeks, because got a lot of fluid that's mixed in here. We're just massaging this, so you definitely should be massaging this afterwards. Typically like rules of 5, 5 minutes, 5 times a day for 5 days, just to make sure it kind of mixes in and gets throughout that tissue stuff. Plus, we love our patients, so just want to make them nice and happy and comfortable. And plus, I have to make up for some of the statements I said to Sarah earlier. So this is like my bad.
My massage.
Yeah, little facial massage. You're welcome.
Perfect.
I'm thumbing it.
Oh.